Go through two quick ways to get your stack sculpture set up in Illustrator. First one is with SVGs. You find an SVG that you like, you bring it into Illustrator, you manipulate it a little bit until it is set up the way you want it to. The other way is with image tracing. You find a raster image that you like, you're gonna drop it into Illustrator, you're gonna use the image trace feature to get it set up. There's a really easy and simple way to do that that'll save you a ton of time and get you the effect that you want. All right, friends, we're going to talk about how to do our image stacking two different ways. We're going to do it once with SVGs. We're going to do it once with image tracing. So go ahead and make a new file. Make sure it's the right size for our laser stuff, 24 by 12. All right, I'm going to use the Charlotte FC logo for this because it's got a great combination of complexity and interest. I'm going to start with the SVG version. SVG version already has all of our lines set, and it's actually just all those instructions. So I can make it so that it has fill, stroke, colors, whatever. I don't need to do anything to get it set up. It's already there. What I'm going to do just for working with it is I'm going to give it kind of a very obvious stroke color. I'm going to give it a 2-point pink stroke color. Then I'm going to ungroup all of the different parts. Okay. Now this logo is pretty cool because it is pretty set to stack already. So you can see I have my big black background circle. I have the two rings that outline the word Charlotte FC. I can drop the crown shape on top of the blue circle, and that's good to go right there. It's got the three layers stacked on top. I want to do something a little bit different though. I want these two rings right here, the white rings. I actually want those on top of a black kind of donut shape. So that, if you look at it, the big black circle will be the bottom layer, and then I'll have a higher layer that has the text and the rings out there kind of elevated, and then the crown is going to be elevated as well. So I actually need to make a shape, and the easy way to do this is I see that this outer circle, I see this size right there, it's 9.0606, and the inner circle right here, I see that it's about 6.1689. So I'm going to just make two circles. I'm going to make one circle that's the same size as the outer circle. The better way to do that is just click, say 9.606. Well, that didn't do the right thing. 9.606. Make sure those numbers are equal. You can turn on and off the constraint proportions. All right, there's my outside circle. Okay, so I move that over here. Yep, that looks good size. All right, I need one that is this size. I'm actually going to copy and paste the size I need over here. I'm going to make another circle and just paste in the size right there. Okay, now I have these two circles. I'm going to make the background black just so we can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm going to make the foreground one another gross color just so I remind myself I'm not keeping it. All right, so then I'm going to take these two shapes. I'm going to center them, and this works because I just want that donut shape. And I'm going to use this Pathfinder tool to subtract everything that's in the front. It's going to look at it, anything that's in front, it's going to get rid of in the back. I do that, and now I have this black donut shape. All right, put it over here. It's the size I need. Actually, not the size I need because I need to make it big enough to consider for that inside ring. So I need to play around with that a little bit to figure out the actual math. But for just demoing, I'm showing you the SVG has pretty much everything that we need already set up. So I'm going to keep the white rings. Those move over there. I'm going to keep the big black circle. And then all the text is good to go. The crown's good to go. All right, so now we're going to do everything with our image trace option instead of an SVG. Okay, again, we do a new file, we do 24 by 12 because it's all laser stuff. Go ahead and create it. I'm going to place down the same logo, same Charlotte FC logo, but I'm going to do the PNG version instead of the SVG version. I dropped that. It looks a little different right away. There's no lines, there's no strokes, there's no fills. This is a raster image. I'm going to resize it so it's a little bit better. Bring up the image trace window. If you're on properties, there's a button down there. If you don't see that, you can go into the window and bring up image trace. It's in the eyes. All right, you're going to want this whole window up. So if you don't see the window, you can go like this and it'll bring up. Make sure that you have the menu so we can do the settings. Usually when you hit image trace on properties, it'll have that little button right there, so the panel. So because this is a logo is going to be a good bit to start with. So you can do other ones, but I find that logo is usually good for these these stack sculptures. All right. Then the important part is I'm going to go into it advanced, and I'm going to change our method from cutout to overlapping. Creates stacked paths. That's the kind of art we're trying to do. We're trying to do this stacked art, so it's going to set us up for success anyway. I'll show you the difference in just a second. But right now, I click on stacked paths, and nothing looks different. I can play around with the sliders a little bit if I want to, but this looks good to me. So I'm going to hit the expand button up at the top or on the image trace panel. Okay, now I can see right away those lines come back up, and if I go and I add a stroke color just so it's more visible, I can see there's the stroke around everything. At this point, I would go back to the same process as what I have for the SVG, except for one important difference. All right, let's zoom in and take a look at this number 0. Okay, this number 0 is actually, I gotta ungroup it real quick. This number 0 is a circle on top of another circle. Okay. Usually this doesn't matter, but my brain likes it better if this 0 is actually a 0 and not 2 stacked as circles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the background circle. I'm going to hold down Shift and click on the inside circle where the O should be cut out. And you can actually see it better if you click on the inside, then hold down Shift, click on the outside. You can see that the size of the selection box expands. Then I'm going to go into Pathfinder. That's on my properties window. If I don't see, I can go into Pathfinder down here. And from the Pathfinder, I'm going to do minus front. What minus front does is it says anything on top of the background image, get rid of it. So now I can't click on that little circle on top of the 0 because it's not a circle on top of the 0 anymore. The 0 is now actually a 0. The 0 is a donut shape. All right, so anywhere where I have that, where there's a shape on top of another shape, I'm going to select the shapes that should be cutouts, like the holes in this B, and then do the minus front. Now it turns into an actual letter B. All right. So if you have a similar image where that's the case, where you have any letters especially, where the way you make it is you have a hole through a shape, go ahead and select all of those and do the minus front, and that will make it so that your letters behave properly. And then if you do go to move them around, you can have them set up the right way. If I go to move this O out of the way, I have to move that circle and then move that circle and then make sure they're lined up right. It's much easier on your brain if you do the minus front ahead of time. At this point, you'd go to the part of this video where you see how to arrange them onto artboards and then set your stroke width, and then you're good to go. What I need to do next is I need to make this fit on 2 artboards. So I can go to my artboard tool here, or I can go to the artboard window. And I'm going to add another artboard. Okay, you can see I have 2 artboards. Artboard is just a way of saying a place to put all your pictures. All right, now I'm going to start moving stuff around, because one of the constraints for this project is it needs to fit all on all on 2 pieces of our wood. So I'm going to move that here. What's neat is I can kind of overlap some of this stuff. I know the rings, I don't need to keep the inside of them. I actually can move the inside of the circle right there, so I can overlap that stuff right there. It's good. I'll move the crowns over here. I'll move that to right there, and then all the words are good. If I really want to optimize this, I can start moving letters around and getting them close to each other, and actually that's probably what I should do, because I can get them to fit a really small space. And then what I could do is I can select everything. I'm going to do Control or Command A. You can see there's a box around everything. I'm going to scale it up. Hold down the Shift to make sure it scales proportionately, so that I'm going to try and see if I can make the circle, the big black background circle, as big as can fit on a sheet of laser wood. All right, so I resized everything proportionately. I got it there. I can start moving stuff around to where it might fit better. And yeah, I think if I play around with this, I'll be able to get everything so that it is as big as possible, and that that background circle will fit. Cool, so this is good. I might be able to finesse it so that it only takes up a page and a half. At this point, I would play around with it some more and then get it ready to go so that we're good with all of our constraints about fitting on 2 pages. The stroke width is good to go, and so on. All right, so these are the 2 techniques. You can do the SVG and then move it around and apply any extra images that you need, or apply any extra objects and shapes that you need, or you can do the image trace with the stacked layers. Stacked layers is best friend for this project. Good luck. Happy tracing.